Another story that comes to mind is remember the story of the raising of Jairus' daughter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he meets Jesus by the seashore. Jairus, the ruler of the synagogue, says, "My daughter's at the point of death. Come lay hands on her and she'll live." So they come and there's this crowd thronging them, slowing them down, slowing up the traction. And Jairus' whole move is like he's got to keep things moving because his daughter's at the point of death. Now, what Jairus doesn't know is in this crowd, there's this woman that has this issue of blood.
Right.
She doesn't care nothing about what Jairus got going on.
Nope.
She spent all her money.
She was resilient.
Hadn't got better. But it got worse, but
My
she's
goodness.
resilient.
Yep.
But she's got to, meet Jesus. So she touches the hem of his garment, and Jesus stops moving because he's like, "Who touched me?"
Yeah.
And boy, Jairus is like, "Yo, we ain't got really time for all that."
Right.
Like, yo, we got to keep it moving. So then it's amazing because like there's this tension where like, man, Jesus like he's looking around, who touched me? Because I felt power come out of me.
That is so deep to me.
Man, but the whole time,
such a scene.
Jairus is still like he's waiting.
Let's
right?
go. Let's go.
And then so he finally calls this woman up. And he noticed what the Bible says. The woman comes and tells the whole story.
That's
so like, man,
that
she talking
word
about how, man,
stood
like,
out to me. The whole
12
story.
years ago, I got sick, man, and I went to this doctor and I tried this and I
one.
tried that. And now this crowd is amassing, and it's going to be even harder for Jairus to get momentum again because all these people are crowding around him. And it's funny because, like, at a certain point, somebody comes from his house, breaks through the crowd, and just like, "Yo,
just don't even trouble.
Your daughter's dead.
Yeah.
Don't even trouble him anymore." Like, that's the assessment. Don't even bother him. Don't believe. Don't trust. It is over. And I love what Jesus says to him. He says, like, "Listen, man, Jairus, don't be afraid. Just believe."
Life can be fast-paced, strenuous, and flat-out overwhelming. Life transitions and taboo topics can make it hard to catch your breath. Welcome to Breathe, a podcast that enables you to slow down, get your bearings, and engage in real conversations where no topic is off limits. Breathe is presented by Breath of Life, hosted by David Person and speaker-director Pastor Debleaire Snell.
Here we go.
Back for another.
Some people come up to me and they say, "You guys are just having a lot of fun." You're right.
We are.
We're having a lot of fun.
We are,
That's
man.
the way we want it to be.
We are.
That's the way I think a lot of you all want it to be, too. Welcome to Breathe.
Welcome.
Pastor Debleaire Snell.
Hey.
Pastor Kirk Nugent.
Yes, indeed.
David Person.
Yes,
Good
indeed.
to be with you. And we are now in the month of February.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah. It's a blessing.
January.
2026 is going by fast already.
It is, man.
Already,
It's amazing.
This is how you know that you're in middle age. Because
This is
it starts
true.
to speed up.
Starts to speed up.
It starts to speed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're a kid, it's slow.
Slow.
It starts to speed up.
Oh,
That's
my
the
word.
truth.
That is so good.
But one thing that's great about being this age, this stage of life, is by the grace of God, we have developed a word that we are going to use a lot today: resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we are still in our new normals.
Yeah, want to make this a normal for
That's
you.
right.
Resilience needs to be a
Right.
normal part
That's
That's
good.
right.
of a believer's experience.
That's right.
Resilience.
That's right.
Yep.
So since we've introduced this word, let's define it. What does it mean for you?
Yeah. Resilience.
Man, so I think, this is not the technical definition, but I think for the sake of our dialogue today, I think resilience is just a willingness to not embrace the first or immediate assessment of things.
Okay.
It is the willingness to not accept the present circumstance as permanent. Because I think one of the things that happens is, sometimes your first assessment of things can really overwhelm you, get you down.
Yeah.
So that when you get that initial medical prognosis, or, you have that initial business deal that goes a certain way and it looks dead.
Yeah.
Or you're looking at whatever metrics, to which you measure success or health of family or health of work or health of, whatever it is. I think sometimes, man, it is our yielding to that initial assessment that really discourages, that overwhelms, that sends us back in the direction that we came in, that causes us to give up. And so I think sometimes resilience is just saying, you know what, I'm not going to accept that as the final word or the final outcome.
Not going to let it cause me to spiral.
Correct.
Because that's what happens with a lot of people.
It is, yep.
You get that bad news.
And
they just throw up their hands and they go into depression or they give up.
They give up. Yep.
I mean, you have to be able to pivot or to see the silver lining. It's I guess reframe. But I love it. I love reframe. I love how you kind of couched it, because if you just accept the first thing will the first result, if it goes a different way than what you had originally planned, that can derail, but that is absolutely resilience. I think that's resilience, and that is required not only as a believer, but also just in life general, across the board. I mean, several different areas, business, marriage, relationships, good night. You've got to be resilient. Parenting, man, you've got to have some resilience, man. These kids will go left, so there's
they'll go left.
The truth, man. They'll go left, man.
Won't they do it? Won't they do it? Yeah. Won't they do it?
Yeah, resilience. No, it's a necessity. I find it interesting. So you started by saying, we're at a stage of life where we have learned to be resilient. But I find it always interesting what builds resilience. When you get a chance to talk to folks, what builds resilience?
That's a great question.
I don't have all the answers. I think it's different per person, but I think it's always interesting when you get an opportunity to sit with some folks and ask them. So what causes you to be this way? What causes you to continue pushing? Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think causes?
So it's interesting. I think there is some innate resilience. I think there is learned resilience, and then I think there is the resilience that is a result of experience.
Right.
So when I say innate resilience, this is the thing, and it's going to sound crazy in some ways. I think we are innately resilient about things that are really important to us. So it's kind of weird. And this is why I say it's weird. There's some times where I've seen young people and they're in infatuation. And everything I'm evaluating with them says, you all need to run from each other. But because they're just so passionate about it, they are resilient, determined. Like no matter how much even the relationship is hurting them.
Mercy.
Like they are determined to do it. Like they are innately resilient because that's what they're passionate about. Or even just whether it is an athlete, whether it is a scholar, whether, when somebody finds their passion and that thing feeds them and it's fueling them and they're seeing fruit from it, like they will sacrifice for it. They don't have to be told to do that. Mercy. So I think there's innate resilience about the things that we are passionate about. This is the crazy thing about it. And it's funny, I think, and this speaks to the human nature. Before we come to Christ, or even as we're in development, there are times where we're just resilient about evil.
It's so true.
We're resilient about wrong. Like, I don't know, maybe there's just some things in life where this thing is hurting me. It is, I'm being buffeted with consequences. I'm resilient about it.
Stay this course.
To stay this course.
That's it.
Or even when I talk about resilient about evil, and again, not to go partisan, but there's a political figure and force. Like no matter what happens, no matter what collapses, no matter how much pushback this leader is getting, that person is resilient and determined to move in a certain direction. I think we know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say the name, right? So I think there's an innate resilience sometimes.
No, that's a good component. Yeah,
I think there's learned resilience, and I think that's what we all teach our kids.
Right.
To say, don't give up.
Yeah,
push through.
Right.
Power through.
Right.
Now, let me be clear. I am, my 10th grader, he is on his junior varsity basketball team. Now, he's not reached stardom level yet. He's got to be a little bit more resilient. But last year,
he's on his way.
Last year on his freshman team, he didn't hardly get to play. He's growing, so his coordination had not caught up with him. Socially, he was on kind of the lower end. He was just getting it hard from the fellas, and so on and so forth. But a part of it was like, son, like, no, I see where it's going. I see the growth spurts when it all comes together.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he didn't even try out for the team in the, I guess, at the end of last school year.
Wow.
So the team was already set. So he had to kind of come on. But probably the last 8 games, he's actually been able to make the starting lineup.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
but he's, but that was, so he'll, at different times he uses the word force. This is me encouraging him to be.
See what I'm talking about?
This, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These kids will go.
Yeah. See how it goes back. Yeah. So this was me encouraging him to be resilient. And it's funny because seeing his confidence grow man, it just means so much to me just because he's had to persevere for it. It wasn't handed to him and it didn't come easy or natural.
Yeah.
He kind of had to push through.
Yeah.
And then, so I think, so what you referred to, I think is the experience, resilience, that's the result of experience. Like you just get
that.
knocked down and you just have to keep getting back up.
Yeah.
Like life consistently, I think everybody will attest, life consistently resists us.
It will.
Oh, yeah.
It will.
Oh, yeah.
It
will.
disappoints
Oh, yeah.
us.
It will.
It breaks
That's
us
life.
down.
Yeah.
It will just never agree.
Yeah,
I guess that's
yeah.
the best. It just won't
You
agree
just
and
wanna
go
agree.
along
Can you
with
just
us.
go this way?
Yeah. So I think that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I think all of us, so one of the movies I resonate with, y'all may take my black card for this.
Uh-oh.
Every Christmas, I watch. It's so funny. I make the boys watch it with me. Y'all ever seen Rocky IV? The one where he fights the guy from Russia,
Drago.
Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago. Yeah.
And it is funny because, like, I think why it resonates is just because I think it is a tremendous metaphor for life.
Yeah.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, it is overwhelmingly, fictional. Like
overwhelming.
But when he fights the big Russian guy, he's like 6'5", 280, made of steel. Rocky's like 5'10", so on and so forth.
And that's 5'10" is
He's
generous.
big,
So
very
that's
generous,
slow
right?
and short.
He's a short guy, right? But it's interesting that in that bout, he probably gets knocked down
Mercy.
30 times. I mean, just square on, so on and so forth. But like, man, I think, just what the part that resonates with me is just that no matter how many times he gets knocked down,
He gets back up.
he gets back up.
That's it.
And so it's not like so he doesn't beat him through just physical acumen and strength. It is his perseverance. Like there's a certain point where in the fight, I know this is very nerdy, guys, forgive me on this, but where he's just like, dang, he just won't stay down. And the fact that he doesn't stay down, that's what gives him the psychological advantage. And I just do think that there is a part of even in spiritual warfare or no matter what space of life where you're dealing with controversy or conflict or those who just don't like you, the fact that you just keep getting up, man, it gives you, an edge. It gives you an advantage, even if you don't have the requisite skill, ability, talent. But just keep standing back up, no matter what happens, says a lot.
That's why they say the race is not given to the swift, but to he who
endures to the end.
Endurance. So I think about this. A couple of things have popped into my mind as we've talked. One is I think about that time in a child's life that we call the terrible twos. Why do we call it that? Because they're always saying no.
No. Yep.
Now,
correct.
We parents often see that as a negative kind of resilience, right? But
the
you
other
know
side
what?
of it,
But you know what? There is this other side.
It is.
Where if a child begins to, I guess, develop a sense of self and some preferences, and displays a willingness to stand up for what he or she wants, in a way that's also a positive.
It is.
Now, it may not always be toward the right thing, and that's where parenting comes
exactly.
in. You have to sort of direct that.
You got to be able to aim that resilience, which is good.
The other thing that I thought about is entrepreneurs, all right? So we all are entrepreneurial, and many of our viewers are entrepreneurial. When you are an entrepreneur, you're going to hear 100 no's
for one yes.
For one yes to get to one yes.
That's true.
And that's not
Speak
really
on that,
that's not really hyperbole.
No, it isn't actually.
You know, I got on my computer, I was going through some files last night trying to find something to send to a potential client. And to find that thing, I had to go through all of these folders. And those folders represented ideas
yeah.
or projects. Many of them never came to fruition.
Never came to fruition. Yeah.
Right.
Proposals submitted,
Turned down.
not accepted.
Yeah.
We want to do it, but we don't have the money.
Yeah.
How many times have I heard that? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, so you have to develop
Yeah.
this ability to say that I'm not going to let that no
I received that.
cause me to just say,
That's a good word.
I give up.
Yeah. You got to keep pushing.
Got to keep pushing. Got to keep pushing.
That's good. Yeah. No.
In business and spiritually.
Yeah,
No, that's good.
Across the board. Because I just think anybody that we look at or we hold up in some esteem, like what happens is we look at them kind of only with the perspective of hindsight, who they became, not kind of understanding with foresight, like what they would have to endure
That's right.
to get
overcome
That's right.
or withstand
That's right.
in order to get there.
Yeah. That's right.
So whether it's our great civil rights leaders, whether it's the great thought leaders, whether it's the great business leaders, or even the spiritual champions. I mean, even when we look at somebody like a Moses, I mean, like
What
the
he had to do.
resilience that was required to deal
get
with
there.
that group of people for 40 years who really, it's funny because like right now I'm reading the book of Numbers. Like every other occasion, it was either like, let's elect somebody new and go back to Egypt, or let's stone him. Like that's your constituency. Like those are the two moves. Like let's kill him or replace him. Like you know what I'm saying. And yet he found himself consistently praying for them, interceding for them.
My goodness.
You know, and it's funny because like now and after Moses died, you know what they did? They wept for 40 days. Like that's
word.
You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of what it required. So we hold him up in this, you know, of course, appropriate regard, you know, for what he endured. But I mean, it was the endurance. That's what made him special and great. Of course, you know, God talks about how he was the most humble man to ever walk the face of the earth. But there was resilience to it.
There's
Another
resilience.
story that comes to mind is remember the story of the raising of Jairus' daughter.
Yeah.
So he meets
Yes.
Jesus by the seashore. Jairus, the ruler of the synagogue, says, "My daughter's at the point of death. Come lay hands on her and she'll live." So they come and there's this crowd thronging them, slowing them down, slowing up the traction. And Jairus' whole move is like he's got to keep things moving because his daughter's at the point of death. Now, what Jairus doesn't know is in this crowd, there's this woman that has this issue of blood.
Right.
She doesn't care nothing about what Jairus got going on.
Nope.
She spent all her money.
She was resilient.
Hadn't got better. But it got worse. But
My
she's
goodness.
resilient.
Yep.
But she's got to, you know, meet Jesus. So she touches the hem of his garment, and Jesus stops moving because he's like, "Who touched me?"
Yeah.
And boy, Jairus is like, "Yo, we ain't got really time for all that."
Right.
Like, yo, who, you know, we got to keep it moving. So then it's amazing because like there's this tension. Where like, man, Jesus like, man, like he's looking around, who touched me? Because I felt power come out of me.
That is so deep to me.
Man, but the whole time,
such a scene.
Jairus is still like he's waiting,
Let's
right?
go.
And then, so you know, he finally calls this woman up. And you notice what the Bible says: the woman comes and tells the whole story.
That's
so like, man, she
that
talking
word
about how, man,
stood
like,
out to me. The whole
12
story.
years ago, I got sick, man, and I went to this doctor and I tried this and I tried that, and now this crowd is amassing, and it's going to be even harder for Jairus to get momentum again because all these people are crowding around him. And it's funny because like at a certain point, somebody comes from his house, breaks through the crowd and just like, yo,
Just don't even trouble.
your daughter's dead. Don't even trouble him anymore. Like that's the assessment. Don't even bother him. Don't believe. Don't trust. It is over. And I love what Jesus says to him. He says like, listen, man, Jairus, don't be afraid. Just believe. And I think, man, like when we go back to that initial assessment of things, like, man, everything naturally, scientifically says, just go ahead and start planning the funeral.
Yeah, it's done.
And I think Jairus' situation, you know, of course, Jesus goes and he raises the daughter miraculously, but I think it speaks to all of us.
Yeah.
Because all of us really should perhaps in some way, shape, or form, when you just look at it from the outside, you should be planning a funeral.
Yeah.
Some of us, based on how it's looking, you should be planning a funeral for your marriage.
Yep.
You should be planning a funeral for your business.
For your business. Yep.
You should be planning a funeral for your vision or your dreams.
Yep.
You ought to be, you know, for some of us, maybe medically. I mean, you ought to, you know, or a loved one, you know, you should be planning a funeral.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, kind of that word that Jesus gave to Jairus And let me be clear, there are some times where when it becomes clear God is saying this is your path, there is a point of acceptance that's a part of the faith journey.
It is.
It's accepting hard things that we're not a part of our planet. But there's a point, but until God makes that clear.
Yeah.
Like there are times where your faith has to spring forth in a way that resists or is resilient against, man, what the odds may be, or what probabilities may be, or what the trending opinions may be at a particular time. Because if Abraham and Sarah are not resilient, they don't have a baby in their 90s. You know what I'm saying? At that time. So I just think all of these things are written for us, for our edification, because we're all going to come up against, or some of you are probably right now in a scenario
where you're facing
where you need to be planning a funeral for something. And God's word to somebody is, don't be afraid. Just keep believing.
Yeah, keep believing.
Love it.
Yeah.
And the decision it's not you're not going to feel it emotionally.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a hum in the air. It's not going to be an atmosphere of resilience. You've got to make a decision to believe, to be resilient.
Yeah.
And I think that, because I was Jairus.
Yep.
You listen to the servant. Go home. Let him continue with. But man, that you have to in that moment make that decision. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I love that, man. That's amazing. I love the way that was framed in terms of Jairus and what that looks like for the rest of us as well. In terms of the funerals that we should be planning.
Yeah.
And then to see how God has come through. And I think sometimes we have too short a memory because I don't believe at this stage in our lives that we have not had several of those moments.
Yeah.
And so it's sometimes for us to call back to those and say, okay, you did this before. God, we've been here before.
Yeah.
We've been at the funeral planning table before.
Yeah.
And you came through. So sometimes we need from our own experience. Sometimes we look at the word, but sometimes from our own experience, we can encourage ourselves.
That's right. That's right. Well, isn't that the whole idea behind Ebenezer?
That's true.
The concept of Ebenezer.
Absolutely.
The stones.
Set up a memorial, right?
So that we can look back and say, we made it past this point.
That's right.
We can make it past this point that we're looking at right now that we're anticipating.
So good, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, we only have a few minutes left. Do you want to share real briefly just maybe a time out of your personal experience where you have had to be resilient? And you too.
Okay. I can think of a couple things. It's funny. I think you all know, like even right now we're going through a book called New Normals. That's a part of this overall series of conversations and sermons that we've been walking through. But, and I say this completely to the glory of God. My last 3 books have become Amazon best-selling devotionals.
Awesome.
Where when you go on Amazon, they're actually, in settings with people like, Stephen Furtick or T.D. Jakes or so on and so forth in the devotional section. Not New York Times, but just in the devotional section, in that particular field.
Beautiful.
I'm saying all that to say, I wrote probably 5 books before that. And, and they pretty much, in terms of their influence, probably reached just a little bit outside of the church I was pastoring. And it's funny because, there were times where people kind of saw it and kind of said, you kind of essentially are, it's kind of an exercise in futility. Essentially saying, kind of your local, author, this, that, and the third. And it's funny because you take it in and you hear it. But I'll be honest with you, I had such conviction about what I was doing. I never gave it a thought. And honestly, and it didn't matter if it ever became known or whatever. I just had a conviction about, because see, one of the things that happens is with sermons, I realize is kind of people forget them pretty quickly. When you write things down, it becomes a part of a person's DNA or thought in a little bit more of a pervasive way. Not that people remember everything that they read, but they can go back and consult it, reference it. And really, that's why I began the process of writing, because it was simply a vehicle that made spiritual things stick a little bit more. So like I remember, probably a little bit more books that I've read that as opposed to just sermons that I've heard. And it's funny because, we just kept plugging away with it. And so like those first 5 books, again, they weren't read by a whole lot of people. But I didn't realize that at some point God was going to create a platform for me and give me a pipeline to the outside world through this ministry, Breath of Life, where the newest books, man, went straight out. But even those books that were just stacked up in the attic, looked like they were dead. God has given us a platform where even like a book like New Normals, which was written in 2017, now it has a whole new life, a whole new audience, but we had to be resilient. And when nobody was reading, nobody was checking for it, when nobody was really, when it didn't really matter or really make much of a difference, you just have to operate in the convictions that God has laid upon you.
Oh, that's good.
Kirk, before you jump in, I just want to tag what you just said with one other thing. So the 5 books were preparing you for the platform.
For the platform, yep.
Right.
Very much.
So it was an exercise. It wasn't an exercise in futility.
Right.
It may have seemed like it to some, but it was preparing you. You were refining your writing skill and your communication skills and all that was needed to really be an effective author. So that when the platform, when the opportunity came, you were more than ready.
More than ready. Yep.
And
So good.
as you've alluded to, not only were you more than ready for the moment, you also had information already stacked up. Ready to go.
That's what God will do, man.
That's what he'll do.
Yeah.
So there's, you just, to that word, just be mindful that most auditions are not on a stage.
That's good.
And I pray that somebody recognizes that.
That's
And I'm glad you pointed that out.
That's right. Yeah.
Man, I can think of a couple of things. One that sticks out, of course, is I do a lot of content, and it sometimes it's fruitful and sometimes it's not. You put out a video and may get a couple of views here. You put out a video, you get 100 views. And you put out another video, it gets 10,000 views. And you're trying to find the rhyme or reason between them. But the coaching I received, and of course the coaching that I now give, is to stay consistent. It's not so much that you made some small tweaks, but the point is you got to keep uploading. And there is a resilience that is required, especially when you're not seeing the immediate feedback or evidence that you would like to see. And we had a video really take off. And again, several had taken off before. I didn't think a whole lot of it. But the brand that video was about, StreamYard, reached out and was like, man, we want you to do content for us.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And this video was, at the time, it was over a year old. So we're not talking about immediate, but it just kept on building and building and building. And so even to this day, if you look on StreamYard's channel, I have videos on there that are still some of their top videos.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's just crazy to see how God will kind of turn that thing around. And it's just like you said, I mean, he will prepare you with those reps, with those, you know what I mean? As you put in the numbers.
Those reps,
As you, it's in obscurity. It's not in the limelight. It's not. And there's so many things I could launch into. Some of them, so many live streams that I was able to produce and different things. People ask me, even for the 21 Days of Prayer, how in the world do you do all the things and host? I'm like, it's just come second nature for me now because I've done it for years. And I just recognize that God has prepared me for the current moment. So it's like he gave me that rhythm so that I could serve in this way.
Serve in that way.
So I want to kind of give both. I'm excited about the StreamYard one, but I also want people to be thinking of sometimes the resilience that you are going through right now is going to prepare you to be able to serve at a level that you never thought possible.
This is a lesson that all of us can learn from and draw from, but especially to young people that are watching. Please
absolutely
understand that for most people, success does not come instantaneously. You have to get prepared to be successful.
Absolutely.
And it requires work. As both of these brothers have just said, a lot of that work is done outside of the spotlight. There are no cameras.
No cameras.
There are no microphones. There's nobody, putting it up on TikTok. You just got to do the work.
Do the work.
And that requires a spirit of resilience.
It does.
So be resilient. Don't give up. Persevere. Have the courage and the strength to continue to do the work, knowing that one day, if you are faithful, if you endure to the end,
door.
Come on.
Yeah.
You'll make it.
You'll make it.
Amen.
You'll make it.
Make it normal.
If it is God's will,
Amen.
you'll make it.
Indeed.
Amen.
Indeed.
And to help you get there, you know we have one admonition for you.
Come on.
Stop,
Stop.
pray, and breathe.
Breathe is produced by David Person for Breath of Life. Executive producer is Debleaire Snell, and sound engineer is Kirk Nugent. Audio episodes of Breathe can be found on Apple, Spotify, or Google podcast platforms. For video episodes and extra content, check out the Breath of Life YouTube channel. Breath of Life is faith-based content, resources, and programs from a contemporary urban perspective for those looking for hope and guidance. We believe that every breath we take is a testimony that God is consistent, that He loves us, and has a plan for our lives.